Low risk. That's one of the watchwords at footballtradingprofits.com. Trying for high returns all the time, of course, but low risk is an important element. This was a good example. Brighton and Brentford. Well, I told members Brighton turn into a Sunday League pub side when they're meeting Londoners. Just can't get a tune out of them. Draw, loss, loss, draw yesterday. A solitary win. Draw. When they were leading as well, Brighton. Loss. Don't know why. It's only a short journey up. I used to take that journey when I lived in Brighton. Up to Gatwick Airport to work. Back when I was a youngster. About 1989, I think it was. The good old days. No grey hair. Not a fat bar steward. Ah, those were the days. You can see I travel better than Brighton do when they're going into the capital, or even have the capital sides visiting. So it was a little caution laying that draw second half in the expectation of goals. I had a predetermined cash out at a third of liability, but why have we got the 18 here? Because I got involved at 1.09 and 1.06 late on for an extra £3 liability to win an extra 50 quid, just in case. Because Brentford have a very good record of both teams scoring away from home, albeit without them winning. But the vast majority of this is covered by, if I can get this up, a lay of over 0.5 goals at 1.13 just before half time, just to win half of the liability I was using there, £40. That way I could keep this running, and it's kept in tandem with the accumulated losses here. So by the time I got out with a £13 loss here at a third of liability, and that was eaten up by a £9 profit there. Low risk. That's what we're trying to do with each trading match. It was an excellent session yesterday, very efficient. Anderlecht and Dender, this is a great reminder to you to take the gift. Coming from behind against a newly promoted side, leading at half time. Let's have a quick look at the final result. Well, fancy that, a 2-3 loss. So we keep the low risk element alive by locking in profit. Take the gift of a 2-1 lead at half time. Anything that happens afterwards, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. You've locked in profit. If you keep this running, it's only potential profit. You lock it in, who cares if Dender win? Who cares if it's a draw? Who cares if Anderlecht win? We're going to guarantee £29. Fantastic, eh? That's the advantage of trading. St Truiden and Club Brugge. Well, I'm not going to show you the insurance. That's for members only. But again, that's part of the low risk. We try to cover or hedge as many problematic scorelines as possible in the hope of nabbing the equaliser. This is all about the in-play stats yesterday. It's a 2.35 the favourite match. Don't like it. Or 2.38 the favourite. Regular members will know that means the market can't really split these two teams. The market can't get a handle on these two. The market can't pick a potential winner. Leuven earlier on. I know John H laid that draw second half. Problem with Leuven is this is a very rare event for them, scoring 2 goals. But they are playing a newly promoted side. So you would have expected a goal from Leuven, which indeed arrived. St Truiden, this is all down to the in-play stats you've got to thank. So if you get yourself an in-play stats feed, it will pay off. And how? But that doesn't tell the full story. We did take out an insurance premium on this because of the 2.35 the favourite. It's all about lowering that risk, isn't it? Got the equaliser from St Truiden. Van Helden. Good for you, mate. Stats. One-way traffic. So this is something for you to think about if you're going to be trading these kind of matches. 2.4 the favourite. You have to revert to the in-play stats. It was one-way traffic. The goal was going to come. 12 blocked shots, for goodness sake. 4 big chances. 14 shots inside the box. Wow. Good stuff from Sint Truiden. Arsenal and Ipswich. Due deference to Ipswich here. Keeping the arse very quiet, but a very efficient 1-0 win. Again, if you look at the stats, it was probably all red on the left, as you can see there. So a very solid defensive display, keeping Arsenal to just 5 shots on target. 3 big chances through 90 minutes for a side of this calibre. Very well done for the Tractor Boys there. But you don't get anything, do you? Even if you lose just 1-0. But you can tell, 1.14, the market was expecting 3+ goals from them. So a very, very efficient and profitable evening. We just picked out the right matches. We cashed out at the right time before half time. We managed our liabilities here, keeping your risk low. That's what it's all about, keeping risk low. So delighted with the overall performance yesterday. Nice and efficient. You might not be hearing from me today. I wish tomorrow's coupon was on today, because tomorrow I've got Sunday lunch with some old friends, which I'm looking forward to. I'm having to stay in Guernsey now until February the 3rd, because I want to make sure that my parents are okay, and I also want to try and fit the house out with grab rails, the suction grab rails, and kind of stands when you go to the toilet, particularly when you've got mobility issues, you need a stand on either side. So we've got them as well. I need a shower chair, that kind of thing. So I'll be on hand, and I've got to help my old 85-year-old mum, but she doesn't need help. She's an absolute force, amazing woman. If only I could teach her to football trade, because she used to be a maths teacher. She would take to this like a duck to water. Italian Seria A today. You've just learnt Sint Truiden. Look at this, 2.7 the favourite, 2.4 the favourite. It's already telling you we haven't got a clue, mate. Inter Milan really should have a comfortable evening or a late afternoon against Cagliari, Lazio and Atalanta. So let's use our old pal, Soccer Stats, and got a bit of time, so we can look through each of these major matches, although it looks as if Soccer Stats is putting them up at the moment. So let me see if I can solve that problem. Right, here's another route. Go to matches here today. Scroll down. You've got a whole list of matches to look at today. I'm just focusing on Italian Serie A. You could, if you wanted to, look at La Liga Portugal. Porto especially would stand out for me. But again, got much of a muchness with the others. But let's have a look through here, particularly at the 2.4 the favourite or higher matches. And you'll probably see why I tend to avoid them pre-match and tend to focus on the in-play stats. You can already see the over 2.5 goal stats. That'll give you an indication that this could be a bit of a snore fest, Empoli and Genoa. So let's have a look at this one. Work your way down. You've got the challenge table, a newly presented challenge table, and you can already tell these two are probably going to fancy it, aren't they? They don't tend to get wins against top sides, Udinese and above, do they? At home, Empoli failing to score in a vast majority of matches. Scoring 1 goal maximum at home. Can they be relied upon today? For their sins, Genoa, again, keeping clean sheets. 4 clean sheets in 5. 2-0 loss to Venezia is a standout there. So it's a difficult one, isn't it? You can already tell that via the challenge table. Trouble scoring that second goal. But for me, Genoa's clean sheets, 4 in 5 against Milan or teams below Milan and over, away from home, could suggest if Empoli score today, they might not follow up with that second goal. So that's just a very quick précis of that match. You can go as in depth as you want into it, but I wouldn't recommend it. 2.7, the favourite. Goal times, of course, you need home for the home side, away for the away side. So this is a very useful page. Normally I go view stats and matches for both teams, but have a look down. Very useful page indeed, isn't it? You can just get a quick indicator that there might be some late action. 13 goals in total in the last 15 minutes of Genoa matches, but we need to look at Genoa away. They are most vulnerable in the last 15 minutes. They are most vulnerable second half, 8 out of 10 goals. But where on earth are the goals coming from? From Empoli, 2 of them at home. So this, press the snooze button, I think. So go back, matches, scroll down. And this is the quickest way to research. It's not in depth, but it gives you a fair indication of seasonal expectation. Again, we've got bottom 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, bottom 6. So automatically struggles. Parma are the home side. Goalfests scoring 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 occasions have scored 2+ goals at home. They do score and concede, and they do have humdingers against the bottom 4. So that 2-goal habit could come to Parma's rescue today. So watch out for that. Possibility of both teams to score. Monza away from home. They've got 2 goals in them as well, but very sporadically. Only on a couple of occasions. They have not. They've not met the bottom 3, but that's no problem. Have met a side above Parma, but 1-1, 1-0, 0-0. So which Monza turns up today? 2-goal heroes or the ones struggling to score? So we've got bottom 6 sides. So you've got trust issues there, haven't you? But the corollary to that is we've got the possibility of Parma at their best outscoring this Monza side on paper. But the market's telling you they daren't make a move. Parma at home, well, 10 goals conceded in the last half hour at home. So that could be the reason for those 2-3 defeats. If Parma are leading 2-0 coming up to the hour mark, they might be layable. But they do finish strongly. They've scored 5 goals in the last 15 minutes at home. Monza, much of a muchness. It's 50-50, isn't it? All the way through. That, I suggest, is the reason for a non-committal market. Cagliari and Inter, you'd be expecting a defensive display from Cagliari today. So again, we can go down to the matches today. Cagliari and Inter. So you've got 71% over 2.5 goals for Inter Milan this season. But how do Cagliari perform against the top boys? Well, we can see it here. Failing to score. So if Cagliari score first, are they really going to score a second consecutive goal? I'm not so sure. So that would be a key angle for me. If Cagliari score first, I don't think they'll be holding on to it. Inter Milan against Udinese and lower, home and away, unbeaten. Away from home, scoring 2 or 3 goals on 1, 2, 3, 4 occasions against teams below them in the league. 5 occasions out of 7 against teams below them in the league. So we're expecting a comfortable evening, but the market's a little wary, 1.42. I don't know why, because they tend to concede 2 goals at least, Cagliari, against the big guns. That 0-1 against Atalanta was a very good performance, keeping it very tight indeed. But you're expecting Inter Milan, at their best, they haven't had too many mince pies to deliver. Go back to matches. and then go down to Lazio Atalanta. This for me is what I would style a derby style match. These are big guns, hence 2.3 the favourite. So on paper, it's not a very good coupon, is it? But like Sint Truiden yesterday, 2.38 the favourite, you're going to have to be looking at the in-play stats. And what we're looking at is this kind of solidity in play. Because you can't pick the winner pre-match, you're going to have to default to in-play stats. You saw Fulham beating Chelsea the other day. That is a geographical derby. This for me is a derby style match. So form lines can often be thrown out of the window, which makes this one another tricky one in a tricky Italian coupon today. Lazio at home, playing top of the league. Got a 0-1 win against Napoli, but a 6-0 drubbing to Inter Milan. That's very recent as well. Atalanta, well, you might want to look at the over 2.5 goal market as a neutral player because they're winning and then they're losing. So derby style matches for me it's difficult, but you can already see, albeit away from home, struggles for Lazio against the big guns, only scoring 1 goal in 2 matches. Atalanta, you don't know. Got 3 goals on 2 occasions against the top 5. Again, for me, it's a derby style match. It's not one I'll be keen to trade. I would trade it as a neutral, but you have been pre-warned. Form lines can be thrown out of the window. Lazio could suddenly inject themselves back into this title race. But this, you're likely to see a defensive reaction to this kind of a drubbing in the next home match. The fans won't tolerate another absolute capitulation. So you're going to expect a tight Lazio, as you've seen with the likes of Southampton. Oh, we can't get to it. With the likes of Southampton. Let's see if I can show you. Suddenly, after being drubbed by Tottenham, clean sheet, single goal loss. That's likely what you're going to be seeing from Chelsea. Look again, not from Chelsea, from Lazio. 5 goal drubbing there, keeping it tight away at Aston Villa. Look at the reaction. So you're likely to see that from Lazio after being absolutely spanked by Inter Milan. And I didn't play that match because you know, and I know, that was a derby-style match against Inter Milan. Couldn't pick a winner. Elsewhere today, Scottish Championship suffers from a lack of liquidity and also a lack of reliability. Saw Falkirk yesterday, 1.5, going 3-3 with Dunfermline. That's the battle there. Liquidity issues. La Liga Portugal this evening. Again, 2.75 the favourite, 2.25 the favourite. You get the idea, don't you? Pre-match. This is why I recommend when you're doing a session, collect your odds-ons at soccer24.com because the market's already done the work for you. Your job is to see whether the market got it right. The market's done the heavy lifting and telling you which side that they prefer. The market's also pre-warning you when a favourite is 2.75. They haven't got a clue pre-match. You've got to go to the in-play stats or not at all. This suggests 3-0, 3-1, any other home score, but Arsenal were similar odds yesterday as well. Might be too much mince pies for Porto. They'll take a 1-0, won't they, today? They'll take a 1-0. You can have a look at the head-to-heads. That's what we expect. Well, 2-1, 1-1. So it's been very tight in 2024. That is not really in keeping with a 1.14 quote. So very quiet day. I can't do Scottish League 1 or Scottish League 2. It's too illiquid. You just can't get out if you get in. Total lack of market forces in those matches. That's it for today. Great performance yesterday. Low risk. Trying for high returns. But that is a key element of trading. keep your liability as low as possible. That means, for example, with the likes of Rangers equalising against St Mirren, negate those losses on St Mirren, 30 quid loss, and load profit on Rangers, keeps it low risk. And you have a low risk punt, which if it doesn't come off, you're going to be about break even. So that's what it's all about with trading. High returns tend to come at the end of matches. Low risk, you can create low risk via insurance on certain scorelines, hedging, variable profit dutching, so many techniques. If you want to find out more, footballtradingprofits.com. Check it out. Click on the link here, and I look forward to seeing you in 2025. Have a great day today. Highly unlikely you'll be hearing from me today in what is a very, very tough Italian Serie A coupon, but I never say never. And what a pity that I've got a lunch appointment at 1 p.m. tomorrow. I was expecting Sunday to be quiet, but no. Premier League returns from 2:30. My lunch is at 1 p.m, so I might wriggle out of it by 2:30. And if I am up and about, certainly at 3 o'clock, I would be more than happy to come along for members on Telegram and see if we can wrangle out some profits. There are some very obvious plays, as you can see here. Napoli, Antonio Conte's Napoli against newly promoted Venezia. This is a derby-style match for me. Fiorentina, the wheels have come off a little bit from their emphatic winning streak. The old lady, a 2-2 against Venezia recently as well. And the old Snorefest, Torino. Oh boy, having a season ticket there is like being in purgatory for Torino fans. Lots and lots of good football on Sunday. Strange. I would have preferred this to be on a Saturday. Have a great day. I probably won't be hearing from me because it's a very tough Italian Serie A coupon, but I never say never. And if there is one or two solid plays, I'll be on hand for members on Telegram. Let's have as solid a day as we had yesterday. Picking the right matches, getting out at the right times.